Hello everybody, my name's Dave Holton, CEO of Valley-Wide Cooperative and Valley Agronomics. Welcome to this year's annual meeting report. Why the video? You know, last year with the COVID situation, it kind of forced us into that situation where we couldn't meet together. This year, as the board and I discussed ways that we could go back meeting with the membership, we talked about all the good things about meeting in person, but the fact remains that this company has grown well outside of the Idaho border into Washington, Oregon, Utah, and it's very, very difficult to give a comprehensive, effective, and efficient report to the entire customer base. And so really the video serves us well in that regard. Today we'll hear from Chairman of the Board, Adam Clark, and he'll give his comments in regards to this last year from the Board of Directors perspective. We'll hear from Ben Falk, our Chief Financial Officer, and he'll present a very comprehensive, informative financial report to the membership. We also have a video that I want to play that was put together as a result of Valley Agronomics being named Ag Retailer of the Year amongst its peers nationwide. It's a very good and enjoyable video, and I'm sure you'll appreciate it. Lastly, you'll hear comments from me about the last year's business from an operational standpoint. All right, to get things started, the first person we want to hear from is Adam Clark, our board chairman. Adam's been chairman for several years now. He's done a fantastic job leading and guiding the board, working with myself through all the challenging issues that this company faces. And he's really demonstrated himself to be a solid leader, not only in the cooperative ranks, but in the business of agriculture within the state of Idaho as well. So with that, Adam Clark.
Thanks, Dave. As was mentioned, my name is Adam Clark, and I had the opportunity over this last year to serve as chairman of the board for Valley-Wide Cooperative. As you know, this last year, there were several challenges that we all faced, but through those challenges arose opportunities, and several of those opportunities we took advantage of. I'd like to highlight just a few of those opportunities over this last year. We finished the acquisition of Saddle Mountain Supply, 4 agronomy locations in central Washington this last year. We also opened the energy location in Pasco, Washington. We added on to an existing agronomy location in Rexburg, making a great addition to what we have there to be able to service the members there in eastern Idaho. We also acquired Cam Gas, a little independent location there in Burley. And all these opportunities have been a great addition for growth and bringing on new members, but being able just to do what we do and providing services to our members, to expand those services to new areas, as well as to the current members that we have. This last year, probably one of the bigger highlights, of course, was the merger that we did with AgLink. AgLink is an independent co-op outside of, or with several locations in eastern Washington. And that merger, of course, was presented to you, the members, and there was nearly a 90% approval rating from both Valley-Wide and AgLink members. And I'd like to thank you, the members, for that support and what the board was able to propose to you, because opportunities like this really allow us to continue to grow, to continue to update equipment, to invest in our locations, and of course give back to you, our members. As part of the merger, though, it kind of shifted some things in our governance. Traditionally, Valley-Wide has had 9 board members in 3 districts. With the merger, we brought on 3 board members that were serving on the AgLink board, making a total of 12 board members. But part of that, one of the Valley-Wide positions would be eliminated at the end of the year. And which brings me to Carl Pendleton. I want to thank him. Many of you that know Carl Pendleton, he has served on not only valley-wide, but co-op boards before for nearly 35 years. He's a great wealth of knowledge, and I appreciate everything that he's done for this board. The experience and the help that he's given me as chairman. He's going to be missed. It's appropriate that that spot was eliminated, as it would be hard to fill his shoes. So I want to personally thank Carl for all the hard work that he's done and allowed Valley-wide to get where it is today. As I said, though, we brought on those more new board members, and we redistrict. So District 1 is, which used to be the Treasure Valley, is now all of Washington, central eastern Washington, as well as northern Idaho and parts of Oregon. District 2 was combined with the old District 1 and 2, combined them together, making up the Treasure and Magic Valley, parts of Oregon as well as Nevada. And then District 3 stayed relatively the same, with parts of Wyoming, southern Utah, and of course eastern Idaho. Out of those representation, there's 3 board members in District 1 now, 5 in District 2, and 3 in District 3. With that, we did have elections this last year, and I'd like to now announce the results of those elections. The terms are for 3 years, and this year we did a little bit different. As you members have probably seen, we actually tried this electronically. Why there was a few minor things, overall I think it was successful in doing what we wanted to do. And we thought it was a really good year to try it, as each of the board members were running unopposed. And so those members that were re-elected for 3 years in District 1 from Coulee City was Ben Adams. From District 2 was Jim McCall from Paul, Idaho. And from District 3 was myself, Adam Clark from Annan, Idaho. We were re-elected for three more years term. I appreciate those that took the time to vote. That's a very important part of the cooperative system, to be able to vote to elect the leaders that you choose to represent you. We feel it's important. We strive to get the message out there for people, if they're interested in running for the board, to put their name forward. So even if you've thought about it, reach out to one of your board members or your crop advisor or someone and ask about it. We need good people that are willing to represent this company. That's honestly, I think, why the co-op, part of the reason why it's been successful, is the good people that the members have elected to this board that care about the cooperative, this business, and what we do. As board members, there's certain things, the goals that we have, of course, the profitability and the success of the company. But something that we've kind of focused on too is to be able to continue to revolve patronage and stock back to the members. And really the growth and these opportunities that we're able to take advantage of has allowed us to do that. At one point, we weren't always able to retire patronage, and if we did, it wasn't as much as we'd like to or have done, but these several opportunities have provided us with success and be able to do that. So I'm proud to announce it's anticipated that the board will approve patronage as well as stock retirement of over $5 million back to you, the members. And I think that's great. The support you've shown the co-op to be able to have a great year that we've had, to be able to turn that around and give it right back to you. Another thing that we do to give back, of course, we have our grant program as well as scholarships. A lot of these, the grants that are given out are recommended or referred to us through the employees and or you, the members. And this last year we gave over $250,000 back to our local communities that we do business in. At Valley-wide and Valley Ag, we want to be a part of the communities. We think it's important to be a part of it and to give back to you, the members, where we do business. Speaking of the employees, I just, as chairman of the board, I want to brag on them just a little bit. There's been some awards and recognitions that they've had over the years, but this last year, Valley Agronomics was recognized by the American Retailer Association as Ag Retailer of the Year. And as members, I think that's something to be very proud of. Recognized out of all the ag retailers throughout the U.S. For their service, the customer care, and just be able to provide services back to its customers. And so I think that's really neat. Congratulations to the Valley Agronomics employees for that neat award. Lastly, as I probably said a million times, I just want to thank you, the members. Thank you for the support. Each and every year, it's amazing to see the support that we get. And through the different challenges that are brought before us, the ability that our members and the ability of our employees to be able to adapt to whatever challenges that there might be. And as we adapt to those challenges, it really does provide opportunities for us. And I hope it provides opportunities for you, that we can help you take advantage of those opportunities. And at the end of the day, that the co-op can be successful, and you in what you do on your operations and your personal life can also be successful. So with that, thank you for your membership, and here's to a great 2022. Thanks.
Thanks, Adam, for those comments. I appreciate it. Next up, we're going to hear from Ben Falk, our Chief Financial Officer. Ben does a fantastic job for the co-op, keeping track of all the numbers. But in addition to that, he's a key strategist on the senior team as well. He's come to learn the business of energy, agronomy, and retail very well, and look forward to his comments today.
Thanks, Dave. As Dave mentioned, my name is Ben Falk. I'm the Chief Financial Officer for Valleywide Co-op, and it's my privilege to present to you Valleywide's 2021 audited financial results. First, let's take a look at the balance sheet. Total assets for the co-op of $369 million represented a $94 million increase over fiscal year 2020. $63 million of that increase was driven by the increase in inventory. This increase was due to both higher fuel and fertilizer prices in 2021 compared to 2020, as well as both Valley Ag and Valleywide taking an inventory position at the end of 2021 in anticipation of supply chain challenges in 2022. Net property, plant, and equipment also increased nearly $20 million year over year. This increase was primarily driven by Valley Ag's acquisition of Saddle Mountain Supply in January of 2021 and the completion of the Rexburg agronomy plant in the summer of 2021. Total liabilities of $217 million represent an increase of nearly $80 million over fiscal year 2020, with most of this increase driven by the increase in Valleywide seasonal borrowings due to funding the inventory increase that we previously discussed. Members' equity increased about $14 million year over year, from $138 million in 2020 to $152 million in 2021. This increase was largely driven by Valleywide's strong financial performance in 2021. Now, let's take a look at the 2021 income statement. Consolidated sales of $599 million for both Valleywide and Valley Ag represented an increase of almost $98 million from 2020. While $25 million of this increase was due to the acquisition of Saddle Mountain Supply in January of 2021, the remaining increase was largely driven by the increase in fertilizer and fuel prices. Net income for 2021 ended at $14.7 million, which represented a $1.1 million increase of net income in 2020 of $13.6 million. We'll look at what drove this increase in the following slides. First, from a sales perspective, 55% of the $599 million in sales were driven by the agronomy division, while the remaining 25% and 18% of sales was driven by retail and energy, respectively. This sales mix is consistent with the prior year, as 2020's percentage of sales was driven equally by agronomy, retail, and the energy divisions as 2021. As we look at pre-tax net income in 2021, however, the contribution mix from the divisions changed pretty significantly over 2020. In 2021, agronomy accounted for 34% of pre-tax net income of $17 million, which was a fairly significant increase over the 21% contribution it made in 2020. Retail and energy, however, each contributed 28% to 2021's pre-tax net income, which was still a strong contribution and fairly consistent with their prior year contribution as well. Now that we've looked at the balance sheet and P&L, we can conclude that Valleywide's 2021 results were strong. With that said, I thought an analysis of Valleywide's historical performance would lend better context to how the co-op achieved these results. As you can see on this slide, sales have increased over the last 6 years from $356.5 million in 2016 to just south of $600 million in 2021. In addition, net income has grown from $4.8 million in 2016 to $14.8 million in 2021. This was done despite the fact that regional patronage income has decreased from $3.5 million in 2016 to $1.5 million in 2021. So how has the co-op achieved these strong results? The answer to that question is demonstrated on this next slide. These strong results have been achieved through growth and reinvestment into its asset base. Over the last 6 years, an example of where the co-op has invested and grown is demonstrated on this slide. In the spring of 2016, Valleywide brought on agronomy hub plant in Pocatello, Idaho. Shortly thereafter, in January of 2017, Wilco Winfield merged into Valley Agronomics, which brought with it over $80 million of agronomy sales. In the spring of 2017, Valleywide brought its new Crossroads convenience store online in Jerome, Idaho. And the following spring, in 2018, Valleywide invested in the remodel of the Rexburg farm store. In the following year, in the winter of 2019, Valleywide reopened a new salmon farm store. And then this year, in 2021, Valley Ag purchased and acquired Saddle Mountain Supply in the Columbia Basin of Washington. Later this same year, Valleywide opened the new agronomy plant in Rexburg, Idaho. And just this fall, we closed on a merger with AgLink in eastern Washington. So how does this growth affect me, you might ask? I'm glad you asked. As this slide shows, this growth and reinvestment has also impacted the balance sheet of the co-op as well. Assets grew from $213 million in 2016 to just shy of $370 million in 2021. In addition, your percentage of the ownership in these assets has increased, as total equity in 2016 was $93 million and has also grown to $152 million in 2021. Not only has the growth and reinvestment driven an increase in your ownership of Valleywide's assets, but it has also given the co-op the ability to return dividends to the country in the way of patronage and equity revolve. As the following chart shows, equity in revolve in 2016 was $2.6 million, but has increased steadily over the following years to levels of nearly $5 million in both 2020 and 2021. Due to continued growth and reinvestment, we expect this trend to continue to grow in the coming years. I hope that this presentation has demonstrated how Valleywide's strong performance has not only built a strong company and balance sheet through growth and reinvestment, but that this growth strategy has benefited you, the member. As we move forward into 2022 and beyond, Valleywide's board and management team plans to continue to use its strong balance sheet to grow the company, reinvest in the communities in which we serve, and further grow your investment in the co-op. Thank you for your time, and I look forward to seeing you again next year.
Thanks, Ben, for that great report. Next, I'd like to take a little break in the narrative, and we're going to show a short video that was put together by the Ag Retailers Association. Every year, the ARA selects a retailer in the business of agriculture nationwide, not just among co-ops, but everybody that's in the business of agriculture in a retail way. And they highlight them due to their growth, their professionalism, their involvement in new technology and advancements in that regard, and their overall involvement in the industry and the communities that they do business in. This year, the Ag Retailers Association selected Valley Agronomics as their Ag Retailer of the Year. And so let's take a moment, watch the video. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. You'll probably recognize some of the employees and the customers that were involved in putting this together. But I want you to take special attention to the fact of how diverse of an area that we serve as Valley Agronomics.
In Idaho, you may find a Valley Ag agronomist checking the potato crop with a grower. In Oregon, they may be looking over hazelnut trees. Covering a wide variety of crops and working with growers across a big territory in the Pacific Northwest, Valley Agronomics was first formed in 2006.
We have 3 partners that make up Valley Ag: Winfield, Valley-wide, a locally grower-owned cooperative, and Wilco Farmers, which is a local cooperative in Oregon. So the fact that we have 3 different owners, but they're all cooperative-based and are focused on the growers being successful, kind of sets us apart.
You know, Valley Ag has had a goal from the very beginning to serve anybody out there, from the small hobby farmer all the way to the largest grower that's out there farming tens of thousands of acres. If we're going to be successful, we have to be a company that can service any grower out there.
Today, Valley Ag has more than 450 employees serving growers from locations in Idaho, Utah, Oregon, and Washington.
Valley Ag to me is really a great partner in my operation. We've been doing business with the co-op as long as I can remember, and they've been able to provide resources and technical specialties to us in order to increase our yields and get greater return on investment.
That is our whole focus, is to support our growers. So we do it through products, through knowledge, through assistance, through our agronomists, and our whole focus is to make sure that they succeed.
We work with Valley Ag because of the people and the relationship and a lot of years of trust and history. And obviously the products, that they service us with, all of it ties together.
As the Valley Ag team has grown its territory, they've updated their facilities to meet the highest standards of service, safety, and environmental care.
It's of great importance to Valley Ag. I mean, the facility that we're at right now was a reclaimed surplus Superfund site that's been converted to a working facility and repurposed, taking what was a negative and turning it into a positive. It's a focus of the company and definitely a focus of our folks every day, making sure that we're doing our part to keep things clean and do things right.
We have a mission with Valley Ag to be able to do business in a way that is good for our customers, good for our company, and in a way that respects the environment so that we can continue to sustainably do it. I think that our growers are the best environmentalists in the world. Their livelihoods depend on being able to farm that ground generation after generation in a way that's going to be sustainable and productive and profitable, and our mission is to help them.
Helping growers has included delivering new technology. In 2016, Valley Ag launched a Platinum Precision Ag tool.
One thing that sets Valley Ag apart from our competition would be our Platinum Precision program. Full service precision, satellite imagery, about anything they can ask for. We've got a team of experienced crop advisors and help them out in a lot of different ways.
And in 2020, they added a grower portal that helps drive better decisions in the field.
The idea behind the grower portal was to create a digital touch point with our customers that allowed them to find and access important information pertinent to their operation in one easy to use spot. If they're doing a farm visit, they can prep for that farm visit by looking into the portal and getting ready with specific details about that customer's account that they may want to talk about, and can then take that information and be really well prepared to interact with our customer.
The investment in technology, just like the precision ag that we're using now, I mean, it's really increased efficiency on our operation to be able to drill down into what we need to do to increase yields, to get a bigger return on our investment.
Another focus for Valley Ag is community support with efforts such as food banks and youth programs.
I think the growers look at Valley Ag as a progressive co-op that still gives back to their patrons every year. They give back to the students in the schools, they give back to 4-H groups, a lot of youth programs.
And they work to attract the best employees and then to keep them by recognizing their contributions.
And that's one of the great things about Valley Ag is they do value their employees. They put a high value on everybody that works here, and they show their appreciation on a regular basis. And that's really important in today's marketplace.
I mean, it takes rock star employees to make that happen. So we've committed to that, finding the right people. Someone once told me long ago, to be successful, you got to have the right people. So we pull out all the stops to get the right people, and the people that we have, invest in them to bring them to that level. Our growers demand that, they really do, and so we're committed to that as well.
With precision applied inputs, expert advice, and leading-edge technology, growers in the Pacific Northwest have come to count on Valley Ag to meet their needs season after season.
And that's the exciting part, is because I have someone that I feel like is a partner with me, looking at what needs to be done to make it the very best crop it can be.
Our agronomists do a great job of having good relationships with our growers and having the trust that, hey, when they recommend something, it's because it's in the best interest for the farm.
With Valley Agronomics, you know, you get up, come to work every day, just seeking to meet the needs of your growers. I mean, day in and day out, that's the culture, that's the direction, that's the efforts that everybody makes towards it.
We're leading in innovation and just trying to be a good partner. It really comes down to we're trying to do the right thing day in, day out that makes our growers be successful.
You know, as CEO, it's great to be able to report to our membership a year like we had in 2021, especially considering the tremendous disruption that has plagued all of us for the last 2 years. But our success isn't defined by any one year. We have a great history. My recollection dates back to 1995 in the Manan Cooperative. One location and about $3 million in sales. Today we serve over 60 communities in 5 states with agronomy, farm supply, and energy products. 25 years of hard work. Work done by so many other people over the years that have been a part of this great thing called Valley-wide Cooperative and Valley Agronomics. 25 years, 9 cooperative mergers, 10 acquisitions make up who Valley-wide and Valley Ag are today. All who held the belief that we can be better together than apart. That belief is alive today and will serve us well into the future. As CEO, it's my responsibility to not only report to you the success of this past year, but also to ensure that this great cooperative company continues well beyond any one of us and our tenure here at the company. So before I begin, I'd like to express my appreciation to the hundreds of employees that make up Valley-wide and Valley Ag today. Thank you for your hard work and dedication. I especially want to thank those who work directly for me as they have a particularly difficult assignment. Ben Falk, our Chief Financial Officer. Greg Mapes, Chief Operating Officer over Everything Energy. Richard Lloyd, General Manager of Valley Agronomics. Gavin Gregory, Vice President of Retail. George Barron, Vice President of Human Resources. Richard Gallegos, Director of Information Systems. Carly Weaver, Communications Specialist, and Joe Carson, Projects Manager. Honorable mentions go to Brad Barnes, Director of Credit and Account Services, and Max Tinsley, Director of Environmental Health and Safety. When we talk about a business being successful, are we simply talking about making a profit? Well, certainly not. By definition, success is the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose. So success depends on what you set out to do in the first place. I have a formula written on the whiteboard in my office. Preparation plus opportunity equals success. We can seldom make opportunity happen the way that we want, but we can surely be ready when it comes. Valley-wide or Valley Ag didn't necessarily create the opportunities that allowed us to grow and be successful, but we did set our sights on being ready when those opportunities presented themselves. That is probably the single greatest factor that led to our growth and success today. That ideal begins with the board of directors and permeates throughout this entire company. So what did Valley-wide or Valley Ag set out to do in 2021 where we can consider this year a success? The first thing that comes to mind for me is probably our prime directive: meet the needs of our customers and our members in any market that we serve. Our customers are varied and vast. Agronomy customers who grow 200 different crops from 10 acres to 50,000 acres in several states. We serve customers in Texas, Colorado, Nebraska, all the way to the Canadian border and the Pacific Ocean. Meeting the needs of all those customers is a gargantuan task that requires facilities that can move the product they want fast and accurately. Valley Ag has invested tens of millions of dollars in the type of facility that allows us to meet those needs. Think of the grower of 50 years ago versus today. Think of how the equipment has changed and the way that they farm. It's no small task to keep up with the best, brightest, or the biggest amongst the customers that we have in our customer base, but we're committed to it. Energy customers are just as varied and vast. If there's been any department within Valley-wide that has changed the most, I would say that it has to be the energy department. Today, Valley-wide services the very small customer who only needs propane or fuel occasionally, to the customer that depends on propane and fuel by the transport load every week. Ski resorts, schools, municipalities, mines are some of the regular customers that we have in our energy department. That said, our ag and residential customers make up the majority of our customer base. Along with propane and fuel, we have a service department that can back up every sale of propane and fuel with water heaters, furnace installs, or any other type of service that our customers need. And it really does set us apart from our competition. Lubricants are also an important part of our energy offerings at Valley-wide. Today, we are the largest Cenex lubricant distributor in the nation, and that didn't come without a lot of hard work. We decided early on that if we were to be relevant in the business, we had to be able to meet every energy need of the customer base. We haven't arrived yet. That goal is going to make us or take us into realms of the business that we are not in today, possibly into the electrical market. Every one of us has to acknowledge and see that the changes coming in the world of energy are vast and huge. Our goal is to remain viable and valuable to all of our energy customers, whoever they are and whatever they need. Retail customers are probably our most consistent of the customer base. Our stores offer a wide variety of products for that customer who loves the rural lifestyle. Valley-wide has had to adapt the way that it does business to more accommodate the customer that likes to shop from home. So our team developed a portal where they can go online and buy online at most all of our stores, or even see what our inventory availability is at the various stores that we have. No small task, for sure. As we build and remodel new stores, we are considering the needs of electric vehicles, drive-through options for food and for other items. Today, our focus remains on the rural communities where the big box stores have, for the most part, avoided. Those markets seem to fit us real well, or it seems that we do best in those smaller communities. So we'll constantly look for opportunities to reinvest where it makes sense in our retail division. Not only are our customers vast and varied, they demand a lot. They expect that we will be on the leading edge of market trends and new technology. Things that seem new and exciting today will be old news in 5 years. Being committed to new technology is an investment into our future that will never let up. Our customers are also very knowledgeable. They absolutely keep us on our toes. You know, the internet has allowed the diligent seeker to find information about the industry. It's really leveled the playing field for everybody. But it has raised the bar for us as a provider of products and information. We can't simply show up at our customer's door with a price. We need to be able to converse intelligently about this industry we share and are a part of. Lastly, about our customer, they're great people to work with and work for. This business of agriculture is just a great industry. not only the business of agriculture, but I think the states that we do business in. Washington, Oregon, Idaho, Utah, various states around that I mentioned, and all the patrons and the customers and the members that we enjoy doing business with. It's just our pleasure to work with such great people in such a great industry. I'll say that anticipating their needs is probably the most challenging of all of the tasks that we have before us. Whether it's new technology, precision tools, communications, or sustainability, it's, like I said, probably one of our biggest challenges. While the road ahead may be obscured with more questions than answers, we will not take our foot off the gas and come to a halt. We will pay more attention to the road and the steering wheel as we navigate all the possibilities and the options as it relates to the changes coming. It's our goal to be the one who could be considered a provider of long-term inputs and information to all of our customers into the future. So the first thing we set out to do was meet the needs of our customers. Secondly, to grow the business. Managed growth is healthy for a company, just like it is for you on your farming operation. You know, there's two ways that a producer can grow his farm output. You can farm more acres, or you can increase the yields on every acre that you currently have. The co-op business grows in much the same way. There's two ways we can do it. We can do it organically, and we absolutely do that. We have a solid sales team in all of our business units that work tirelessly to not only serve the current customer base, but also look for new accounts, selling not only the products and services we offer, but the cooperative benefits as well, the benefits that set us apart from the other businesses we compete with. An important and effective way to grow the business can be done through mergers and partnerships. It adds a common interest customer base quickly, where organic growth takes a long time. Mergers and partnerships also bring diversity and stability to a company. I think about the mergers and the acquisitions that Valley-Wide and Valley Ag have been a part of in the last 25 years. I mentioned it earlier on that we had 9 cooperative mergers in my tenure, and what a history. I think back to Manan and Madison Co-ops, United Co-op there in Rupert, Valley Co-ops in Jerome, Nissa and Nampa Co-ops here in the Treasure Valley, Franklin County Grain Growers, Wilco Farmers over in Oregon, and most recently AgLink in northern Washington. All of those mergers brought in a faithful cooperative customer base, as well as diversity of crops, cattle, and climate. And all those things add up to more stability and more diversity for our company. I think about the acquisitions. They're different. You got to write a check to acquire those companies. Independent companies that we've acquired over the years have been owned and operated by sole proprietors who decided that it was time to transition out. We saw that as an opportunity, and so we made the acquisition where it made sense. Thirdly, as it relates to our goals that we set this last year, replace, repair, and replenish the assets. The more that we use them, the more they get wore out. And as we grow this company, it's vital that we not just look at the sales that increase, but we have to take care of the infrastructure, the brick and mortar, if you will, of what allows us to do business. This last year, we invested $12 million in new and remodeled facilities. I think of Pasco, Washington. That was a ground-up venture that we started in the energy department, and it has been doing very, very well. And we've got propane tanks over there, we've got rolling stock, we've got people over there that man the office there in Pasco, and is doing fantastic. I think of the Rexburg, Idaho agronomy plant, and for years we operated out of 2 older facilities, one on the north side of town, one on the south, and we knew that eventually we would have to consolidate those, but either one of those facilities was big enough to handle all the business. So this last year we purchased some adjoining property on the south side of town and added on to the facility that was there and invested close to $8 million in that facility so that we can service really most of eastern Idaho from one facility, making things a lot more efficient. But a good solid investment into the future for all of our agronomy customers. On a smaller scale, we invested some money down in Aberdeen. After the acquisition of Jerry's Oil and Corbridge Oil, we invested several $100,000 in a new bulk plant so we can serve those new customers down in that market, and that's working out very well as well. We've also spent in excess of $5 million on rolling stock and replacements and repairs for our current equipment list. And that's important. We can't just focus on sales. We can't just focus on new equipment. We have to take care of the assets that we do have so that we can serve our customer base well into the future. And that's just everyday block and tackling for this business, as you and your farming operations know very well. Looking ahead, we've got our sights set on some fun projects. Some small, some large, but all very interesting, and they will all enhance the business going forward. Right now we're in the process of converting an old King store that's in American Falls into a retail store for farm and home products as well as gas and diesel. And we hope to have that open by October of 2022. The Wendell location is a combination of two locations. We have a gas station out on the highway, and we've got the old farm store downtown that's probably older than 100 years old, made out of the old block lava rock. But what's important is that the customers still rely on those facilities to serve them. We do a great business out of those facilities. Steve Sears does a great job managing that facility, and we feel that it's time to reinvest and combine those two locations into one nice facility out there on the interstate where the gas station is. And so that work will start fairly soon with an opening spring of '23. We also are going to start the Buell store remodel here in just another week, and that's been a great store for us, and we anticipate that the patrons will absolutely love the new look inside and the new offerings. Looking forward down into Utah, we've got a solid location down there in Delta that we've invested in and put up a 20,000 square foot shop. We're going to add to that and bring in energy products with the idea that we're going to be building a fertilizer plant there in the near future. So a lot of exciting things ahead. Since the merger with AgLink this last year, Greg and his team have gone up there and really put a full court press on the propane business, the low-hanging fruit, as you will, that we see up there. So in the future, we'll have a solid presence all through Coeur d'Alene, through Spokane, and across northern Washington. Fourthly, in regards to goals that we set out for this last year, the fourth one is to operate at a profit. You know, Ben did a great job presenting not only our financial position, but a bit of history as well. We saw the growth of the company and top-line sales due to the things that I just mentioned, but just as important, the growth in our earnings need to accommodate that as well. The sales increase, or as sales increase, so should the profit. That just doesn't simply happen. It takes diligence and some tough decision-making to protect the bottom line. Operating a profit comes from our diversity as well. 3 solid business units in agronomy, energy, and retail spread out over 5 states creates the opportunity to succeed and builds a hedge of protection for the entire company against circumstances that may hinder any one business area. In 2021, we sort of hit on all 3 cylinders there. It was a special year where all 3 of our business units performed exceptionally well, and you can see that from the results that you see on the bottom line. Lastly, as it pertains to our objectives, to return value to our members and our patrons. Operating at a profit allows us to perform our most important objective, returning cash value to our members and patrons through patronage payments and equity revolves. In the end, the earnings are yours anyway. I think about this Last 5 or 6 years, between patronage and equity revolve, I think we've revolved over $20 million that did not stay within the company, but went back out to those that did business with us. And that really sets us apart from everybody else that's out there. With all that said, I can say with confidence that 2021 was a successful year. Our goals and aspirations going forward to 2022 and beyond are really no different. We will maintain our efforts to be prepared both financially and operationally, and keep a sharp eye out for opportunities that fit well into this great cooperative company called Valleywide Cooperative. Thank you.